Let me have it. Let me have it. let, let me have it. You want me to throw it? Okay. You want me to throw it? Hmm? You want me to throw it? Let me have it. Come here. Come here. Let me have it. All right. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Outpost Review. We hope that everybody is doing well and is healthy. You know, I stop and I think about all of this sickness everywhere. And, you know, this will be almost a year now since we've had this pandemic. And, you know, I worked in it for 8 months, 10 months actually. No, 8 months. And then been around some of my family members that tested positive, but the Lord has blessed me with good antibodies because, you know, I don't hardly ever get sick. And but anyway, one reason that I left that the EMS was I kind of felt like that they were going to be vaccinating people, and I wasn't going to take it. But I do know this, that I know that flu is a major killer, especially when it sets up into pneumonia with people with underlying conditions and the elderly too. So doesn't mean healthy people can't get sick, because way back in the 80s I got sick with double and walking pneumonia and nearly died in Houston. They had no idea what was wrong with me. They were testing me for everything. They gave me some medicine. It paralyzed my intestines, and then that even made things worse. And it was about 8 weeks before I ever got better. And I just, you know, I was so bad in my respiratory system, but then it went from there to my GI system. And I'll tell you what, I was absolutely, you know, I can remember laying in a hotel room and just praying, you know, Lord, take this from me, because I was so sick. Actually, I was so sick, I didn't call an ambulance. I crawled out of the room. Thank goodness the elevators were right across from me. You know, I was in that hotel. I was actually in a cable splicing school for 3 weeks, and the first week I got sick. The second week I stayed in the hotel room for the whole week. I got so weak I couldn't eat anything because I would throw up. The ice machine was right next door to my room on the outside, and just walking to the ice machine to try to suck on a piece of ice felt like I was climbing a mountain. Felt like I was out here walking from the road way down there up top of the hill here. Very weak. I remember crawling straight across the hallway to the elevator, reach up, I touched it, crawled in, I sat down. When I got down, the elevator opened, and of course there was a bellhop there. It was a really big hotel, and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No." I said, "I need you to call me a taxi. I need to go to the hospital." And but anyway, to make a long story short, they had tested me for everything because my intestines, you know, and my GI system, my respiratory system. But anyway, I'm thankful that I have good antibodies because I'm around it all the time. You know, I just seem to just keep on going. So I just wanted to say to those of you who may be sick with it to take care of yourselves, make sure to hydrate, make sure and eat, because when I laid in that hotel room, I couldn't eat. I kept throwing up. So if you can't, you know, if you're not at the point where you're throwing up, try to eat, because it will keep you from getting, you know, severely dehydrated and severely weak. But you need to go get checked out. Anyway, I was thinking about that, and like I said, we certainly hope that everybody's doing well. So what I wanted to talk a little bit today about was the oil that I'm actually using for the siding. I've had some questions, you know, how do you keep the water from going in through the siding? Well, first of all, you know, the old homes that were built basically just had boards that were nailed up. A lot of the older homes were board and batten. And basically my boards are up. I don't have the batten on yet, which the batten portion is the part that covers the crack. Okay, I'm probably going to cut some 1x3s because I know it's going to shrink a little bit, and that way, and I know that these may shrink just a little bit too. Now they've been stacked and drying for quite a while, but of course some of the boards had got wet, and but I know they have shrunk some, and they may continue to shrink a little bit more, so I'm allowing for that. Anyway, but you know, if I didn't put anything on the boards, the water, the way that the grain is running, would naturally drain down. Okay, a lot of the older homes, you know, the boards got grayish looking. First off, I have that ability for the water to drain. The batten helps to keep the water from getting back in behind the board through the cracks the way it is now. But that tung oil and that linseed oil, you know, it provides a really good protection. The other thing too, by burning these, what that does is it kind of burns off the outer layer of cells, kind of like the epidermis, which is the outer layer of your skin, right? Then on the inside of that you've got the dermis. Okay, if you think about it that way, it kind of burns off the outer layer, and then as you continue to burn, it doesn't really flame anymore, and it kind of becomes a little bit fire retardant. And what that does is it starts closing up those cells. Okay, so it's kind of like if you took a straw, okay, the cellulose, so a bunch of little straws. It's kind of like singeing the end of it, or cauterizing it where it closes up and it doesn't take on any more flame. And then when you're done, you know, you scrape that outer chaff off, which is the charring, and then you've got a board that it will still take the oil, but it's pretty much, like I said, those cells are closed up, which helps to make it waterproof as well. So I not only did that, but I also, that tung and that linseed oil, that is really good material to seal wood and to help preserve it. I may have to go back later on, several years from now, as the sun beats down on this, especially during the summer, and put another coat on it. But right now you could splash water on it and you could watch it run. You know, it's a really good material. This right here is what I'm using. It's made by Cabot. When I had a fella make a comment the other night, I couldn't think of the name of it. So I just knew it was Australian tung and linseed oil. So I had to Google it to see, you know, and I Googled Australian tung and linseed oil, and of course it popped right up. I knew when I seen that name right there in this can that that's what I was using, but I couldn't remember. But anyway, yes, it's made by Cabot. It's for decks, siding, railings, and outdoor furniture. I got the natural type, but it's Australian timber oil. Now I had a subscriber comment and tell me that they use this and it really did a great job. So I thought that I would try it. It's very expensive. It has went down some. The first can that I bought was $249. Today when I went in there to pick this up, it was $219. I had to move the camera to kind of turn this bucket sideways where I could actually read this to you, but it says it's a unique blend of oils originally formulated to protect dense Australian tallow wood, Canberra, and Meerbau from extreme exposures. It contains a precise blend of linseed oil for maximum penetration, long oil alkyds for durability, and pure tung oil for color depth and water repellency. So it gives you a three-way oil protection. In addition, it's got a complex iron oxide pigments that have been added to ensure long-lasting UV absorption surface rich with color and dimension. But you know, I had a gallon of linseed oil, somebody had mentioned also, I think it was a contractor, said that I should also think about using some tung oil. And then I had another, like I said, subscriber comment and said that try this Australian timber oil, because it had both of those in there. And of course I read to you, you know, it's got some other things in here. But so far, when I would put the linseed oil on, the linseed oil, you know, it would penetrate, it wouldn't go very far. But with this tung oil added in there, it spreads a pretty good ways. And it's not really watery, but it's not real thick and heavy either. It's kind of in between, and it goes on really well. Like I said, the 5-gallon bucket did all of these timbers and has done all of these boards so far, and I've still got about this much left in the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket. This one is brand new. I just got this one today, and so I feel like this will do the rest of the siding, and it may do the compost toilet and the kitchen too. You know, it's not a bad price to have something that will, you know, cover your material that well and protect it from the elements. So this is some really good stuff. If you've never tried it and you've got a project going on, I would highly recommend this. It's really good for you know, exterior protection. Another thing that I realized after today was the fact that just before I got ready to put up the horizontal 2x4s on the outside of the wall, do you notice any difference in this wall and this wall? On this wall you can see the 2x4s. On this wall you can't. I guess for the life of me I can't figure out what I was thinking when I put this section here and then added that second section on, or that last section on down there. I guess I thought I was putting it on like house wrap, but I installed this incorrectly. It's not a big deal because, what do you want? Huh? What do you want? You're a good boy. He just always wants to be petted, my goodness. All the time, all the time. He's so needy. He stays at my feet all the time, except when he's sleeping. Right? Right? But anyway, what I was going to say was, I've got more of this reflective barrier than I'm actually going to need because I ordered 2,000 feet. So what I'll do is I'll cut some strips that are 2 feet wide. And I'll go in here and I'll tack them on this side of the 2x4, which they should have been stapled on the outside of this, my stud wall that I put up. And like I say, for the life of me, I guess I was thinking I was putting house wrap on there. So in order to create the barrier between my siding, which is right there, I need to bring it on this side of the 2x4s. So that will provide me an airspace. Anyway, yeah, I'd realized that after it was too late, but it's not anything that can't be fixed. So I'll actually have 2 layers on. Of course, what happens is when it's actually touching something like over here, it actually transmits the heat through instead of reflecting it back. So anyway, but yeah, we can fix that. So that's something that I'll have to keep in mind when I start putting those other sections up there. It's not house wrap, it's a reflective barrier. Okay? Can you remember that? Can you help me remember that? Huh? Alright. You know, when I'm out here working and when we go for walks, a lot of time I think about, you know, the impact that I may have had on this property. It's been in our family for, what now, 60 years. And I had actually built a cabin out of this before. It was 3,000 square feet, and I cut the timber that I built the whole foundation. I did the siding just like this, only I went horizontal with it, and I cut out all the roof trusses, and it had a second floor. I cut out all of those floor joists as well. All of the bulk material actually came out of this hollow down here, where I have done primarily all of the select cutting for this cabin as well. So I know that in a period of, because in the early 70s, this was all grassland. Right here where you see all these trees, the hill's pretty steep, but it was all cleared. This was all field and grass up to probably a couple hundred yards in that direction, and of course down that hollow and along that tall mountain over there where the sun goes down most of the time, like I've said before, because when I leave and I come out to the edge over here and get past it, there's still another hour, 15 minutes, another hour and a half of daylight, even in the wintertime. Within that time frame, all these trees, and you can see this one right here, it's good size, it's fairly large. This one right here. This one behind me is probably 16 inches in diameter right here. I don't know if you can see that one right there. What happens is when I go through and I select cut, I open up the canopy and I allow the sun to come in, and so smaller trees like this elm right here, or this hemlock, it will start growing a whole lot faster because the sun can actually get to it. And of course, like I said, and you've seen a lot of the trees that have come down, not only in the windstorm, but just with some snow hanging on it, and we don't even get that much too, but with that snow hanging on it, you know how much or how sensitive they are to where they come down. And I've got a limb, let me show you. Right here is a limb that was broken out of the tree right beside it. That is a yellow pine and is fairly straight. And the only reason that I haven't cut it yet is because it stands between the cabin and the road way down there. I tried to leave all the trees on this side of the cabin and the sawmill and everything to kind of hide me, you know, from traffic, basically, going back and forth. Now once I get everything fixed to where I can move in, I'll come in here and I'm actually going to clean up all of this undergrowth and everything, all of these trees that have fallen over the years, and kind of clean this up. That way I'll have a view and I'll be able to see and monitor, you know, a lot of things between myself and my driveway right here. There's still a whole lot of trees between me and the road, but I want to be able to see, you know, and monitor, like I said, the driveway. This pile of logs lying behind me here, when I was actually cutting a road up here to the cabin and getting ready to mark off an area for the house seat, I actually had to cut down some small trees in order to do that. But what I did was I cut those up and I piled them up. So what I intend on using these for is primarily just decoration. But what I'm going to do is at some point I will buy an auger for the back of the tractor, and I'll punch holes going down the driveway, and I will make kind of like a split rail fence with just a couple of runners. But like I say, primarily it's going to be just for looks, but I thought it would be kind of cool to have those, and that's what I intend on using them for. I just thought I would mention, you know, you see logs that I've got piled up everywhere around here, and that's kind of my intention for those at some point. Also, when we were up there clearing out around the kitchen and cutting those trees down, the ones that I milled up for a lot of the 2x4s for the cabin here, this was higher on up in the top of the tree. So they're pretty good size, they're pretty bulky. I intended to save those for that chicken house. So this stack right here is primarily for the chicken house. There's some down in there that I'll probably be able to get some lumber siding from. Of course, there'll be a lot of different random widths, but just like this one right here, it's got a good end on it, but when you get up there, the log kind of takes a dip like this, so a lot of that will be just cut away. But yeah, this whole pile right here is for the future chicken house. Don't throw anything away, and so I'm kind of excited about getting onto that project pretty soon. As soon as I get the cabin exterior on, I'll be starting on the chicken house, and I will also be starting on the raised beds, because I want to put in 1, 2, 3, possibly 4.5 more, because I want to have that ready by springtime. So that's 2 more projects that I've got on my mind before spring actually, planting season actually gets here. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off here, guys. Those are the things that were on my mind here recently to share with you. I hope that showing you the oil that I'm using on the boards and understanding that barrier, it has got to have a space between it and the siding. Don't do what I did and think, oh, this is house wrap. Nah, I have no idea what I was thinking. You know, it's one of those moments when you just got clouds between your ears, right? But like I said, it's an easy fix. And then showing you this, and then talking about, you know, the area here and the trees, because I'm always cutting trees, you know, whether they have fallen down or they need to come down, because I actually see one right there now. I'm standing here talking that I'm going to have to take out, because it would probably miss the compost toilet, but it's starting to lean now, and it's a yellow pine. Anyway, I thought that I would just mention a few things right there as we go along. So hope you guys appreciated this video. You know, if you're new to this channel here, our main channel, Smoky Mountain Outpost, you can head over there and check out all of the buildings and all the projects that we've worked on. And I've got playlists developed where you can actually see, you know, the different project all the way to the end. But anyway, we hope everyone has a great afternoon. Take care. We look forward to seeing you back up here at the Outpost again next time.